Are you an animal, vegetable, or mineral? Stay tuned. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And last evening, I was listening to a podcast from no less an authority on life, and I can tell you this from virtually the day I was born, than my very sister. Okay, no, seriously, she's very, very smart. Unfortunately for me, she was given the brains in the family. I was given a little athletic ability, but that doesn't count right now. The brains are what's more important. So anyway, I listened to a podcast that she had with a gentleman from England. Okay, she's very, my sister Amy is very respected in the world of workshops and working with companies. Sort of a Simon Sinek type person that goes in companies and has workshops and talks about leadership and so on. As a matter of fact, all of the things that we talk about on this channel, isn't that true? And she made some interesting points that I want to share with you. And she came from a direction where the interviewer was asking her about what is she doing now, is she excited about her particular project, so on and so forth. And she said, yeah, right now I'm actually very excited about the project. And he said, well, tell me, what's the project that you're doing? And Amy said, well, you know, there are a lot of people that, you know, go through their work life and then they retire and then they decide that they have a lot of time on their hands and they want to get back into it. And they have a difficult time because they're not going right back into the field where they were trained, where they were somewhat of an expert. So they're kind of starting brand new. So the first thing that we have to do is to get them to be in a position where they can learn a new skill. Which brings me to the opening that we had on this video. Are you animal, vegetable, or mineral? Let's talk about that. Let's start with vegetable. Okay, now the reason why I'm bringing this up is because most of my subscribers, my audience, are younger people. They're not those people that my sister's going to work with, but they're in exactly the same spot. And let me point out those similarities. Okay, first of all, let's talk about vegetable. Okay, what does the vegetable do? The vegetable, the plant, sits there. The plant is dependent upon the sun. The plant is dependent upon the rain. The plant is dependent upon somebody weeding out the troublesome growths. The plant just sits there. And too many people, whether it's early in life or whether it's later in life, assume the posture that I've been to school or I've had my work experience or I've learned all these things and there's no more room to learn more, or frankly, I don't want to learn more. So they're in a vegetative state and their lives are completely controlled by the outside circumstances. That's the vegetative state. Okay? Then we have the mineral state. Okay? The mineral state is the person that, once again, has reached a certain level and they refuse to make any kind of changes whatsoever. I know what I know. This is the way it is. This is rock solid. There's no way that you can change that. My mind is made up. No way that I'm going to look at another person's point of view. Do you know somebody like that? And I'm not talking that they have to be an old fogey. There are a lot of people, get off of my lawn type people out there that are my age or older. But there's also people like that that are younger, that assume a certain posture, whether it's politically, religiously, or on a business perspective. I know what I know, that's it, there's no changing it, things don't adjust. And one of the things that comes to mind when I think that way is my number one mentor, a man named Bob Anderson, developed a sales system for, we had, I don't know, 25 or 30 offices nationwide that worked and worked and worked and worked and worked, and then all of a sudden, it stopped working. We were knocking on doors, getting into people's homes. Well, a time came where people started to be very apprehensive about answering their door and letting people in the house. I mean, today, how many people do you see knocking, going door to door? Not very many. Back then, that was one of the major ways to sell products. That was one of the major ways to, get different ideas out there, was knocking door to door, and people were more open to that. But then we had, from my mind, when people started going postal, people started to be distrustful, and apparently rightly so. So we had to change our marketing approach, and we didn't, and we suffered the consequences as a company. Finally, let's get to animal. Now, what does an animal do? An animal assesses the surroundings, makes judgments, and makes changes based upon the things that are around them. Does that make sense? My sister Amy used what I like to refer to, what I think is a tremendously good term. You've heard of the term lunatic, right? Well, she said what we need to do is to create people so that they become learn-a-tics, so that they never stop learning. So make yourself a learn-a-tic. Animal, vegetable, mineral. Mineral is the rock that's not going to change. Vegetable is the person that lets the surroundings control their entire life, and it's the animal that uses their instincts and continues to take a look at surroundings, make new judgments, and move forward. Become a learn-a-tic. I thought that was a great term that I'm going to embrace from now on. And remember always, hey, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.